Jerry Sandusky's sex abuse trial came to a dramatic end Friday night in a Bellefonte, Pennsylvania courtroom. Hundreds of people surrounded the courthouse as a former Penn State assistant football coach was convicted of sexually assaulting 10 boys over a 15-year span. This morning, Sandusky is in jail waiting to be sentenced. Next month, he's reportedly under a suicide watch.
His lawyers say that they will appeal, but it's likely that he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The 7 women and 5 men on the jury found Sandusky guilty of 45 of the 48 charges. One juror described the experience for CBS this morning in her own words.
My name is Anne, and I was juror number 11 for the Sandusky trial. In some ways, you feel unworthy as an individual. You don't want to make that kind of decision, but you also have many other lives in your hands. In this case, we had the victims. The first victim that stepped forward, he was compelling in that his story, it was very complete, and it was difficult in that I have a son who you could imagine being that age, and I think that you could really sympathize with him. I want them to heal and get the help that they need to have a life that they deserve. You know, nobody deserves what happened to them. The deliberations were calm. People were serious about this and respectful.
Our defense was premised on Jerry testifying.
You know, we never talked about should he have testified or why he didn't testify. I know in my own mind I wondered. I think I would have liked to hear what he had to say. I would have liked to see him answer questions.
Jerry, what do you have to say about the verdict?
We watched him to see how he would react, and there was very little reaction. And I think that we felt that he knew what he had done.
Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett was the Attorney General in 2009 when the Sandusky investigation began. As a governor, he's also a member of the Penn State Board of Trustees. Governor Corbett, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm pleased to have you here. I want to look back briefly and then look forward. Looking back, does anything about this investigation, this trial, and this conviction surprise you?
Charlie, no. I think it surprises some people. The length of time it took, but having been an assistant DA, an assistant U.S. attorney, and handling cases like this, I understood that you have to do a complete investigation and get as many witnesses as you possibly can. And so this took us a lot longer than people would like it to take. But we built an ironclad case, and I think the jury demonstrated with their convictions of 45 or 48 counts that it was an ironclad case.
Governor, does it surprise you that the defense is now saying, listen, we didn't have enough time to prepare our case?
I'm not surprised that they would say that. They've had a number of months to go through the files, go through the witnesses. Obviously, it'll be the subject of an appeal at some point in time, but you know, defense attorneys are going to try and appeal this decision. But in this case, the jury had the opportunity to hear the compelling testimony of these now young men who were young boys who suffered at the hands of this pedophile.
Governor, what does this mean for Penn State going forward?
Well, this is a chapter that is behind, and I'm proud of the administration and the Board of Trustees that are trying to deal with this in a very difficult time. We have a search for a new president ongoing at the same time, but we're all waiting to see former Judge Louis Freeh's report. That'll set some of the guideposts for the administration and for the Board of Trustees as to how to prevent this in the future. But particularly what I think this case has brought out is that this is a problem in the United States. It is a problem here in Pennsylvania. And when a young boy is accusing somebody, particularly somebody of celebrity status, it is very difficult to get them to come forward. And I still encourage people to go and bring this kind of information forward to all the authorities.
Because that did not happen, and some people say that Penn State has been on trial as well, and Penn State has to address that, and perhaps Louis Freeh's investigation will, but there remains a question about Penn State and the way it handled this.
Well, there is another investigation. As you know, 2 other individuals have been charged At this point, Linda Kelly, the Attorney General, has said the investigation is ongoing. That is now separate from the Sandusky case. So it is something that has to be looked at closely, will be looked at closely. And I know that I am waiting to see. I've known Director Free for a very, very long time. I'm looking forward to see his report and his recommendations.
Governor, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.